How's it going, y'all? Back in a new damn video. Let's get right down to it. So now as time went on, as you guys know, I made that video about Joe Brady and some of the other guys we have, thought about interviewing or hiring or yada, yada, yada. A name has emerged from out of the damn dirt, from out of the dust. And Josh McDaniel's. I didn't see him, it's funny because like the past 2 years now, was it 2 years now? About 2 years or so. Not many teams been interviewing him, and as you've seen, there was like 7 openings this time, and not a single team interviewed him. And it's really due to Parr. He burned a lot of bridges in the NFL because of the way he handled the whole Colts situation. If you guys remember, he was supposed to sign with the Colts as the head coach back in 2018 after the Super Bowl that we beat them in, New England Patriots. He was assigned as the head coach, and 48 hours or like 24 hours or so before he pulls out last minute, the staff that he already assembled was hired, and they already had contracts. Basically stealing Frank Reich from us because they had no other options. So they took Frank Reich. I'll tell you what, I know Colts fans are very, very much happy that they got Frank Reich. I know I'm miserable since because he was definitely helped engineer us win that Super Bowl. And you can tell with his team. Look at the way their offenses ran. It's like, wow, But, they got the better, coach in the day. The first they're probably upset, but, Frank Reich's such a nice man, or a good guy, that he said, you know what, he didn't get to hire his own staff from what I heard. He actually just kept those guys and said, you know what, we'll keep them. I will keep them. You guys, I ain't putting you guys out of jobs. But he had that, he was once a coach in Denver, and that was a miserable failure. It started off, they started out 6-0, and then they just plummeted, and 2 years later he was fired. To me, he's always been an intriguing candidate, because to me it was always like, he failed with the Denver thing. He was young. And he tried to be like Bill Belichick, but on steroids, which, already trying to be like Bill Belichick without even winning anything is bad. But you try to be like him, but on steroids. And trying to say the personnel, and sometimes I'm not going to the press conference. I'm not doing this, kicking his feet up. He was young. He didn't know. And you even hear some of the old former players were saying, of that Broncos team were saying, we were so prepared. We were more prepared than any football team. Like, we could beat anyone. But when the going got tough, it started out great. That when the going got tough, he couldn't get us motivated to, like, run through a brick wall for him, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he was young, like I said. Then he went back, and he was able to, you know what? Okay, I'm going to sit back, and I'm going to, learn more under Belichick. Belichick's also going to teach me a little more. Listen, man, you don't coach that way, Even like when he was the Broncos coach, he beat New England and then was doing all this crazy screaming, yelling on the sidelines. You look at him on Google or YouTube, sorry. Crazy screaming, yelling on the sidelines. And then I think he didn't even, or did he shake Belichick? I don't know. He did something like almost like a slight to him. He got caught cheating there. But like I said, he was young. And there's a lot of guys on their second run as head coaches do better. Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, of course. I'm not comparing some of these great coaches. I'm just saying, though. Dick Vermeil. I can keep going on with names. You know what I mean? But that would be a long video. But there's guys in their second stint that do better than they did in the first one. And I think he was young at the time, and now he's older, and he understands things. But I don't understand how, out of the bluest of blue hells, we're interviewing these guys. Now it's, Josh McDaniel's he's a candidate. I said, okay, I guess we're interviewing him. I have no problem. And like I said, like I said before a few minutes ago, I was always intrigued because I've always liked to see what he would do in his next stop. What would he do with his second time as head coach? Would he actually be successful? Would he understand how to, run a team properly as a head coach? What would he do? But I never said, damn, I want the Eagles to have him as a head coach. I would, as an NFL fan, because I love the NFL and I just love watching all the teams and all the scenarios and things that could happen. I love his concept on offense. I love his scheme. I love his system, his thought process. He has an offensive mind that adapts to many quarterbacks. And I say, hey, you know what? I would love to see him in another stint with another team. First with Cleveland, I think it was, or this team, that team, when it first came out, like before this Colts thing. I loved him. I wanted to see him with Andrew Luck. But I never said, let the Eagles get him. I said, no. I don't know about that. I don't know. So he comes out of the blue this year, and they're interviewing him. I said, all right, yeah, just going for an interview. There's not that many guys. A lot of the guys they're trying to interview are in the playoffs. They got to request the interviews and yada, 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 whatever. Then it turns out on Sunday that it was an 8 to 9 hour long interview. And before he even went in for the interview, they said he already had his staff assembled. I guess his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator, whoever else he was trying to get. I said, man, this can't be. Well, you got to be kidding me, right? Like I said, I'm not upset. If he gets hired, I'm not upset. I'm 50-50. I'm like, but yeah. Every coach is a risk and reward. It really is. It's either risk or reward. And this right here is. If he can change the way he was and from when he was in Denver, if he can act the way, he can be successful. It's just a matter of that. A lot of people say this is what it was. He burned a lot of bridges in the NFL. He had, because he did bail with the Denver job. Burned a lot of bridges, what he did with the Colts, backing out last minute, very unprofessional. And he probably got a sense, or he talked to Belichick, and Belichick basically said, listen, I'm not retiring anytime soon. Because that was the whole goal. Belichick retired, he take over as the New England Patriots head coach. And Belichick probably said, I'm not retiring anytime soon, so this is your opportunity to get a head coaching job. Because if not, you're going to be sitting on my sidelines for another maybe 3 or 4 years, or maybe longer. I don't know. Because no other team is reaching out to you ever since that Colts pull-out thing. Which leads back to that he was going to be New England's coach sometime down the line. That's why he kind of did it, some people said, or because of the Deflategate or whatever. I don't know. So he's taking it very serious. And I look at it and say 9-hour, 8-hour interview. Everyone's like, 8 hours, 9 hours, that's so long. I told myself, listen, they're at Lori's place. I said, they probably had the interview. And he said, hey, you know what, want to stay over for dinner? They probably sat back, drank glasses of wine, or drank whatever they drank. Moscow Mules, whiskey, vodka, tequila, whatever you want. And watched the playoff games. Dude, playoffs were on, man. They were watching the playoff games. How funny would it be, though, if Josh McDaniel's was in that room and he's like this. Eat this meal. Hey, Lori, see that throw right there, that play right there Brady just ran? That's a concept that I created. We ran together. He loves that so much. And look how successful he was with it. I was cracking up last night thinking about that, just joking around with myself. But they're saying he's serious, like, might be the guy. And I'm like, okay. If it's just an interview, 8-hour interview, just have fun, drink wine, and eat steaks and whatever, that's cool. But the more and more it gets closer, like one guy said, and I'm not saying I trust this guy, but he did say someone he does trust told him that it's almost like a sealed deal. And then it's funny how we were supposed to request an interview with Eric Bieniemy, and his agent tweeted something out like, oh, he won't be interviewing with the Eagles. The McDaniel's thing is a done deal. And I don't know. Then a lot of people were saying that, we're requesting the interview. But Andy and the GM of the Chiefs, who I'm forgetting his name right now, whatever, is kind of mad at the way we handled the Doug thing. He's kind of mad at the Eagles or mad at Jeffrey Lurie. He's not allowing him to interview Eric Bieniemy. If you see how high he talks about Eric Bieniemy, like how great he talks about him, like he did today. He's like, I would love my son to have played for him. I hope he goes to the NFC, not in the AFC, and all these great things. If he believes he's that good of a coach, Andy Reid, and he knows what we just did to Doug, who was a guy who won a Super Bowl just 3 years ago. I understand Doug wasn't the best coach, and I agree. I think he was just a guy who was put in that position, had great staff around him, was able to lead men, but didn't know how to play call. I said that before. But Andy probably looks at it in a different light and says, you know what, I don't want him going there and in 2 years getting fired, and then he's screwed out of ever getting a job because he's already been, 2 years now, almost 3, that he hasn't got a job at all, and he should have got one by now. But, but the whole McDaniel's thing looks like it's a sealed deal, and I'm not sure. I'm 50-50 on it, like I said. There's so much more information to it. We interviewed the guy Mayo, who was the Patriots linebacking coach for head coach. We interviewed him. I think he's a guy who would become in his defensive coordinator if McDaniel's is hired. I definitely do not want Matt Patricia whatsoever as defensive coordinator. Whatsoever. Like, especially with Darius Slay here. Darius Slay is probably one of our best defensive players, definitely our best corner by far, by a million trillion miles. He's one of the best in the league. And he hated Matt Patricia. Like, he even throw shots. Everyone did. And you think he's going to coexist with him on the sideline? Like, that makes shit even worse. And if the Eagles try to sit back and try to favor, say, the coaches over the players that they're kind of doing right now, it won't work out, and it would be a miserable, terrible failure. I mean, the only good thing is this, is that some people are saying once McDaniels has just maybe a tad bit of success with the Eagles, if he does, that he'll challenge Howie, and Howie won't be able to beat him out. He's such a big personality. he won't be able to beat him out. No. But we'll see. I don't know what to say. If he's hired as the next head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm 50-50. Like I said, I'd like, as an NFL fan, I wanted to see him where he lands and how he does, but not really with my Eagles because it's a risk. But now that we're open for head coaching candidate job, we have a head coaching vacancy, and we're really not going anywhere anytime soon. Let's be honest here. We have some star players, Pro Bowl players, but we don't have that, next level thing. I mean, it can change around, but we'll see. And they're saying another thing about the coaching thing is they want someone who's going to fix Carson Wentz. That's the big thing with Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. That it's about Wentz, it's about fixing them. McDaniel's is the guy for the job, so I think maybe a guy like Tom Brady, like a guy like Joe Brady, who I made a video on, guys like maybe Bieniemy, Mike Kafka, who was a guy who I thought probably be head coach in day. Nah, he's not even getting interviewed now, they're saying. So, I don't know. Let's go Birds, Fly, I'm out. I can keep going on for days about this. But you guys comment below on your thoughts on the Josh McDaniels supposed hire, or would you go in a different direction? A lot of people saying go on defense. But that's why a lot of people say it's a sealed deal. But I don't believe that because we also today just interviewed Todd Bowles. So if last night was this long interview and it's a sealed deal, why are we still interviewing Todd Bowles? Unless we're being professional and saying, hey, listen, we already requested an interview with you. We'll just take the interview just to take it. Which I think they probably did. I don't know. But let's go Birds, Fly, I'm out. You guys comment below on your thoughts. Do you want him? If we do get him, are you 50-50? Do you just completely hate it? Or do you think maybe there's an ounce of hope there that maybe he can be something? I'm just putting it out there. I don't know. Go Birds, Fly, I'm out. Subscribe, comment below on your thoughts. And follow me on Twitter if you'd like to talk more of Eagles football. It's in the description below. Peace. See what happens.